Part 1. The Guardian of the Garden. Sun Wukong, the great sage equal to heaven, was living the good life. Or so he thought. He had a mansion, he had servants, he had a fancy title. But he had absolutely no work to do. He spent his days wandering around heaven, making friends with the stars of the constellations and chatting with the deities. He was so bored that he started calling everyone brother, regardless of their rank. The Jade Emperor noticed this. "That monkey is idle," the emperor said to his advisors. "Idleness leads to trouble. We need to give him a job to keep him busy." "What job fits a monkey?" asked the gold star of Venus. "He likes fruit," the emperor mused. "Let him guard the garden of immortal peaches." It seemed like a good idea at the time. It was actually the worst idea in the history of the universe. Wukong was thrilled. He ran to the garden immediately. It was a massive orchard filled with glowing trees. The local land spirit gave him a tour. "There are 3,600 trees here," the spirit explained. "The trees in the front have tiny flowers and small fruit. They ripen every 3,000 years. If you eat one, you become strong and healthy. The trees in the middle ripen every 6,000 years. If you eat one, you can fly and stay young forever. But the trees in the back, those ripen every 9,000 years. The fruit is purple with pale gold lines. If you eat one, you become as eternal as the heavens and the earth." Wukong's eyes went wide. 9,000 years? For a few days, Wukong was a good guard. But as the peaches in the back of the garden started to ripen, the smell became irresistible. It was sweet, fragrant, and magical. One afternoon, Wukong dismissed his guards. "You guys go take a nap," he ordered. "I will watch the trees alone." As soon as they left, Wukong climbed the biggest tree. He found a large, ripe peach, rubbed off the fuzz, and took a bite. Crunch! Sweet nectar exploded in his mouth. It was delicious beyond words. "Just one," he told himself. "No one will notice." But one turned into two. Two turned into 10. Every few days, Wukong would send the guards away, climb a tree, and feast. He only ate the biggest, juiciest ones. When he was full, he would curl up on a branch and sleep, disguised as a tiny inchworm so no one would see him. Part 2. The 7 Fairies. One morning, the Queen Mother of the West, the wife of the Jade Emperor, was preparing for her annual grand festival of immortal peaches. She sent her 7 handmaidens, the 7 fairies, to pick fruit for the party. The fairies entered the garden with their baskets. They picked 2 baskets of small peaches and 3 baskets of medium peaches. But when they got to the back of the orchard, they were shocked. The trees were empty. There were no ripe peaches left, only broken branches and pits scattered on the ground. "Who could have done this?" the red fairy gasped. They searched the trees. Finally, on one branch, they saw a single, half-eaten peach. As the blue fairy reached for it, the peach suddenly woke up. It wasn't a peach. It was Sun Wukong, who had been napping in his true form. He had shrunk himself to the size of a fruit. "Hey!" Wukong shouted, growing back to his normal size. He pulled out his golden staff. "Who are you? Why are you stealing my peaches?" The fairies trembled. "Great sage, don't be angry. We were sent by the Queen Mother to gather fruit for the grand banquet." "A banquet?" Wukong lowered his staff. "Who is invited to this banquet?" "Oh, everyone," the fairies listed. "The Buddha of the West, the Bodhisattvas, the Dragon Kings, the Star Lords, the gods of thunder and lightning." Wukong waited. "And who else?" the fairies asked. "Me," Wukong pointed to his nose. "I am the great sage equal to heaven. Surely I am invited to the head table." The fairies looked at each other awkwardly. We didn't see your name on the list, great sage." Wukong's face turned red. The fire in his eyes flared up. "They left me out again? I am the guardian of this garden. I am the most powerful neighbor they have, and they treat me like air?" "Please, we're just servants," the fairies cried. "Stay right there," Wukong shouted. He pointed his finger and muttered a spell. "Fix!" Magic light shot from his finger. Instantly, the 7 fairies froze in place. They couldn't move, couldn't speak, and couldn't blink. They stood there like statues with their baskets. "I'm going to this banquet," Wukong growled. "And I'm going to see why I wasn't invited." Part 3. Crashing the Party. Wukong flew on his cloud toward the Jade Pool, where the party was being held. On the way, he ran into the Barefoot Immortal, a high-ranking god who was walking to the party. A mischievous idea popped into Wukong's head. "Old friend," Wukong landed in front of him. "Where are you going?" "To the peach banquet," the Barefoot Immortal said. "Haven't you heard?" Wukong lied smoothly. "The Jade Emperor changed the plan. Because of the speed of my cloud somersault, he asked me to tell everyone to go to the Hall of Universal Light instead to rehearse a ceremony first." "Really?" The Immortal scratched his head. "That's strange, but an order is an order." The trusting Immortal turned around and flew the wrong way. Wukong laughed. He plucked a hair and shouted, "Change! Poof!" Wukong transformed himself to look exactly like the Barefoot Immortal. He walked into the Jade Pool. The party wasn't starting yet, but everything was ready. Long tables were set with dragon liver, phoenix marrow, and exotic fruits. But the best part was the smell. Huge jars of heavenly jade wine were sitting in the corner, brewing with a rich, heavy aroma. The servants were guarding the wine. Wukong, disguised as the Immortal, walked up to them and hummed a strange tune. Then he cast a sleep spell. The servants yawned, their eyes drooped, and they fell asleep right on the floor. Wukong turned back into his monkey form. "Don't mind if I do." He grabbed the largest jar and tilted it back. Gulp, gulp, gulp. It was the best wine in the universe. He drank one jar, then another. He ate the dragon liver. He grabbed whole chickens and stuffed them in his mouth. Within minutes, Wukong was completely drunk. He was stumbling around, knocking over tables, and spilling wine everywhere. Uh-oh, Wukong burped. I think I had too much. If the Jade Emperor walks in and sees this mess, I'm going to be in big trouble. I better go home and sleep it off. Part 4. The Pills of Immortality. Wukong stumbled out of the Jade Pool, trying to find his way back to his mansion. But he was so drunk that he lost his sense of direction. Instead of going to his house, he stumbled into the Tushita Palace. This was the home of Lao Tzu, the Supreme Lord Lao, the founder of Taoism and the highest god in the Taoist pantheon. Weird house, Wukong mumbled. Is anyone home? No one was there. Lao Tzu was giving a lecture upstairs, and all the servants were listening. Wukong walked into the alchemy lab. In the center of the room was a massive 8 trigrams furnace, still glowing with heat. On the shelves were 5 gourds made of yellow gold. Wukong picked up a gourd and shook it. It rattled. He popped the cork. Inside were tiny, glowing golden pills. These are the 9-turn elixir pills, Wukong gasped. These are the pills of supreme immortality. People spend thousands of years trying to make just one of these. He tipped the gourd. A few pills fell into his hand. Well, he hiccuped, I might as well try one. He ate it. It tasted like roasted soybeans. Crunchy, Wukong said. I need more. He tipped the entire gourd into his mouth. Then he grabbed the second gourd, then the third. He ate them all like a child eating popcorn. Suddenly, the wine started to wear off. Wukong shook his head. He looked at the empty gourds. He looked at the messed-up room. He remembered the frozen fairies, the eaten peaches, and the spilled wine. Cold fear washed over him. Oh no, Wukong whispered. I have committed crimes that are too big to forgive. Stealing peaches is bad. Stealing wine is worse. But stealing Laozi's pills? The Jade Emperor will chop me into little pieces! He didn't hesitate. I'm out of here! He summoned his cloud, sprinted out of the heavenly gate, and didn't stop until he landed back on Flower Fruit Mountain. Part 5. The king returns with gifts. His monkey subjects were waiting for him. Your Majesty, you have been in heaven for over 100 years this time. Remember, 1 day in heaven equals 1 year on earth. Why are you back so suddenly? Wukong wiped the wine from his chin. I missed you guys. Heaven is boring. The food is bland. I'd rather be here with you. But Wukong felt guilty. He had enjoyed the heavenly wine, but his monkeys had nothing. Wait, Wukong said. I forgot to bring you a souvenir. He turned around and somersaulted back to heaven. He snuck into the Jade Pool, where the servants were still sleeping, grabbed 4 huge jars of wine, tucked 2 under each arm, and flew back down. He poured the wine into stone bowls for all his monkeys. They feasted and celebrated. "Our king is the best," they cheered. "He steals from heaven to feed us." Wukong laughed and drank, pretending to be happy. But he kept looking at the sky, waiting for the thunder to start. Part 6. The charges pile up. In heaven, the chaos was finally discovered. First, the 7 fairies' spell wore off. They ran to the Queen Mother, crying, "The great sage froze us, and he ate all the big peaches. There is nothing left for the party." Then the servants at the Jade Pool woke up. "The banquet is ruined. Someone ate the food and drank all the wine." Then the barefoot immortal arrived, confused. "Why did the monkey send me to the wrong hall? He tricked me!" Finally, the great Supreme Lord Lao Tzu walked into the throne room. He looked grave. "Your Majesty," Lao Tzu said slowly, "my alchemy lab has been robbed. Someone ate 5 gourds of the 9-turn elixir. That was enough medicine to make an entire army immortal." The Jade Emperor's face turned purple. He stood up, and the entire palace shook. "Enough!" he roared. "This monkey is not a nuisance. He is a criminal. He has insulted the law of the universe." The Emperor looked at his 4 great heavenly kings and Grand Marshal Li. "Gather the armies," the Emperor commanded. "Gather the 28 constellations. Gather the 9 luminaries. Gather the gods of thunder and fire. We are not just going to arrest him this time. We are going to wage war." Specifically, they were sending 100,000 celestial soldiers to the Flower Fruit Mountain. They planned to place a heaven and earth net around the mountain so not even a fly could escape. Down on the mountain, Wukong finished his wine. He felt the air pressure change. The sky turned dark, not from clouds, but from the shadows of thousands of warships. Wukong stood up and grabbed his golden staff. He looked at his frightened monkeys. "Don't worry, children," he grinned, showing his sharp teeth. "The guests have arrived. It's time to show them what the great sage equal to heaven can really do."